This year, we're going to see extraordinary aspects of the college basketball tournament because, first and foremost, we had a COVID season. And what does that mean? It means we did not have the number of non-conference, early site, neutral game tournaments that many smart handicappers have relied upon for forecasting performance in the NCAAs. We have a bunch of your smaller mid-market teams that have played nobody outside of their conference. So some teams that might have been fun underdogs, say a Colgate type team, is almost impossible to read because all they did is keep playing Army and other teams like that back to back to back. So who knows how good they really are? Indeed, you could argue there's more statistical speculation in the power ratings this time around because there's so little non-conference play that took place to really measure conference against conference. So that's another key factor is the power. It may skewer the power ratings. We don't have a clean read on the team because of the failure to play non-conference opponents. The third factor is everybody's pretty much a neutral site game. There were no real home games this year. There were no real road games this year. So outside of your unique venues, like, say, a Syracuse that plays in an unusual gym, for everyone else, it's not apparent that there was any home or road advantage for either team. And that means adjusting your power ratings by that doesn't really make sense. This, too, is unprecedented and unparalleled. Then there's the tournament itself. The tournament itself could be impacted by play teams getting COVID that leads to forfeitures, and we've never seen that happen before in the modern era of the NCAA tournament. The next factors are all going to be living in a bubble in the same location. It worked out pretty well for the NBA, but who knows how it's going to work out for college kids. Some teams are not even getting to practice in their regular routines because of this. So that's another additional factor. On top of that, we're going to have mostly empty arenas. So traditionally, the first round upsets were helped by the fact that out of the 8 groups of fans that were there, 7/8 of them were cheering for the favorite to lose in the first round. That's not going to be there this time. So will that have an impact on officiating? Will that have an impact on the emotional mindset of the underdog? We don't know. We're going to have to watch and wait and see. In the same vein, in the second round, a lot of your blue blood teams benefited from getting a lot of favorable officiating that pushed them over the top in the last 10 years or so. They may not have the benefit of that without their fan base behind them cheering. The additional factor of early site location mattering if it was really close to a particular home team is only a factor for really one team, maybe two, that nobody is talking about, which is Purdue. The entire tournament's being played in Indiana. And if they do allow 25 to 30% of the fans in, you can bet that probably all of them will be Purdue fans when Purdue is playing. So that might be a factor to look at that Purdue North Texas spread. And then, but otherwise, it doesn't appear that the absence of fans should lead to less officiating bias that may hurt underdogs early, but help them later because it adjusts for the fan factor of the blue-blooded teams, the big brands. So those are some factors to look for in the COVID era and how COVID could change the way this tournament is handicapped and change the way this tournament turns out.